Please let the house come to order. Please stand as we are led in prayer this afternoon by the lady from DeSoto, and then she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please remain standing for that. Lady from DeSoto.
Please bow and pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with humble hearts, asking for your guidance and wisdom to rest upon the members of the Mississippi House of Representatives. Please grant us discernment and clarity as we deliberate, legislate, and make decisions that impact the lives of the people we serve. Lord, we ask you inspire us with the spirit of integrity, justice, and compassion. May we seek to work together, not for personal gain, but for the common good of all Mississippians, always keeping in mind the needs of the most vulnerable among us. Bless our work, O Lord, and help us to govern with fairness and courage. May we be mindful in the diverse voices we represent, and may we always strive to honor truth, uphold justice, and bring about peace. Give us the strength to face challenges with grace, the patience to listen, and the humility to serve. Surround us with your wisdom and love, and may our decisions reflect your will. Lord, we ask that you inspire us with the spirit of integrity, justice, and compassion. May we seek to work together not for personal gain, but for the common good of all Mississippians, keeping in mind, again, the needs of the most vulnerable among us. Bless our work, Lord, and help us to govern with fairness and courage. May we be mindful of the diverse voices we represent. And we always strive to honor truth, uphold justice, and bring about peace. Give us the strength to face challenges with grace and the patience to listen. Surround us with your wisdom and love, and may our decisions reflect your will and lead for a betterment of this great state. In your holy name we pray, amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kimberly. You want this? Kimberly. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Close the machine, Madam Clerk.
There's a quorum present, Mr. Speaker.
We will have the reading of the journal. The gentleman from Rankin, Representative Powell, moves we dispense with the reading of the journal. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Report of select committees.
We have none, Mr. Speaker.
Report of standing committees.
We have reports on the calendar, Mr. Speaker.
Introduction of bills and constitutional amendments. Gentleman from Harrison, Mr. Haney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ask unanimous consent to dispense the reading of the introductions.
Is there objection to this? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, we will follow that procedure. Resolutions, petitions, memorials, and other papers.
We have none, Mr. Speaker.
Introduction of guests and visitors. Gentleman from Warren, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, in the North Gallery, we have Pablo Diaz. He is the head of the Economic Development in Vicksburg, and his son, Luca, in the gallery. Please help make them feel welcome.
Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you here today. And your sidekick. Welcome. Lady from Madison, Ms. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the South Gallery, I have three visitors today, the Gullies and Preston Crow from Broadmoor, and they head up our shelter initiative to foster children, and they're here today to meet with Andrea. So as soon at around 2:30, I'm going to try to sneak out and go visit with them. So
very good.
Thank y'all for being here.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, I don't see further introduction. We will go to the calendar. For concurrence or non-concurrence? Any chairman have an item they wish to take up? Gentleman from Walthall, Mr. Pygott.
So we got to go to conference. I'm sorry, sir. I've got a little problem. I had to wait.
Gentleman from Grenada, Mr. Horan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to go down to item number 12, House Bill 1544, and the motion is to not concur, invite conference.
All right, gentleman's motion is to invite conference. If you favor the gentleman's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Gentleman from Benton, Mr. Massengill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item number 8, HB 953, and invite conference.
All right. Gentleman's motion on item 8, House Bill 953, is to invite conference. If you favor that motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Gentleman from Neshoba, Mr. Bounds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item number 9, House Bill 1074, I move to concur.
All right, gentleman's motion on item 9, you'll need to come to the well. You're recognized to explain the changes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is the, if you recall, the Electronic Government Services Fund and Oversight Committee that we brought forward just the code sections in it in an earlier bill. All we did in this bill was added to that committee the Department of Archives and History and the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. This is the committee that is built within ITS, or that ITS oversees and handles all the electronic transactions and things like that for all state agencies where people do online services. And we're just in this bill, we're just simply adding the Department of Wildlife and the Archives and History to the Oversight Committee, and that's an explanation of the bill.
Questions of the gentleman? I don't see any.
Move concur.
He moves to concur. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 113 yeas, 0 nays, motion is to concur is adopted. Gentleman from Hancock, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item 15, House Bill 602, move to non-concur and invite conference.
All right. Gentleman's motion is to invite conference on item 15. If you favor the gentleman's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen. Gentleman from Walthall, Mr. Pygott.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to number 3 on a concur, non-concurrence, calendar 1006, and confer.
All right, you'll need to come to the well and explain your concurrence. You're recognized, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate just added one little word to it, B, so that's all difference, and it didn't affect anything on the bill, and that's the explanation, sir.
Questions of the gentleman? I don't see any. I'm sorry. Gentleman from Jefferson, Mr. Harness, for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't hear the chairman.
All right, it was just one little word, B, grammatical error added to it. The word B, BE is all was added, changed that on the bill.
All right. I don't see any further questions. Open machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the concurrence, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 116 yeas, 0 nays, concurrence is adopted. Anything further, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. On item number 2, House Bill 913, invite conference.
All right. Gentleman's motion on item 2, Meat labeling is to invite conference. If you favor the gentleman's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. All right, does that conclude our work on the concurrence, non-concurrence calendar? I see no one else seeking recognition. Motion to reconsider calendar. Rules calendar, he passes. That brings us down to the general calendar. Apportionment and elections, he passes. Public health. Gentleman from Harrison, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Go to item number 2 on the calendar, Senate Bill 2699, and make the usual motions, please.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And gentlemen, I see you've got a committee amendment.
We do.
You are recognized to explain the strike all.
Thank you. The strike all simply removes the repealer altogether. Initially, it was just to extend it, and the committee voted to remove it altogether. That's an explanation, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the strike all? Gentleman from Union, Mr. Creekmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have an amendment at the proper time.
All right, now would be that time. Gentleman from Union, you want to explain your amendment?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're recognized.
The amendment is adding the genetic counselor language to the bill. This is a bill that we passed 117 to 0, which creates licensure for genetic counselors. We sent it over to the Senate. They failed to bring it up. And this is very important to our state. It's very important to UMMC. I've explained it once. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to explain it again.
Questions on the gentleman's amendment? I don't see any. Question occurs on the adoption of Amendment 1, the strike all amendment. If you favor Amendment 1, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The amendment's adopted. Anything further on the strike all, gentlemen?
Nothing further.
All right. I don't see any questions on the strike all. Question occurs on the adoption of strike all Amendment 1. If you favor the strike all, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Anything further on the bill?
No, sir. Final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote 118 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. Universities and colleges. Gentleman from Jones, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On item number 3, I would like to skip over it and ask that it retain its place on the calendar, but I would ask for unanimous consent to go to item number 33, Senate Bill 2517, and make the usual motions.
Is there objection to the gentleman skipping to item 33? Hearing none, gentlemen, we will do that.
I'd like to ask the gentleman from Neshoba.
You already called it up?
You're recognized, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe the chairman has called the bill up.
He did not.
Okay, he did not. Call the bill up and make the usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And I see you've got a committee amendment, gentlemen. Is that correct? It says on my calendar you've got a strike all.
Yes, we do have, and all the strike all does is just puts a reverse repealer in it, and I'll explain the bill.
Let me recognize you to explain the strike all, and that may be the extent of it.
That is the amendment.
Questions on the strike all? I don't see any. And no further amendments, gentlemen. You move adoption of the strike-all?
Move adoption of the strike-all, Mr. Speaker.
Question
Thank you.
occurs on the adoption of strike-all Amendment 1. If you favor the strike-all, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Anything further on the bill?
Yeah, just to explain what we're doing here, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, this is our annual, I'm going to call it NIL bill, name, image, likeness, that we do every year. This comes at the request of our universities across the state. We just are bringing forward the code sections of the NIL code sections, just in the case that the federal courts or Congress or the NCAA or somebody acts on NIL before we get out of here, and if we do need to address it, we'll have the code sections open to do it. That's why we want to put a reverse repealer in it and keep it alive at least through conference. And we're just bringing forward the code sections on the NIL statutes, and that's all we're doing. That's the explanation. Questions on the bill? Move adoption.
I don't see any. He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 111 yeas, 5 nays, bill passes. Come on. Gentleman from Rankin, Mr. Newman.
Introduction out of order.
You're recognized.
Y'all help me welcome the doctor of the day, Dr. Lee Holden, who's a doctor of psychiatrist at Mississippi State Hospital. Welcome.
Welcome, Doc. Good to have you here with us. All right, that brings us down to item 4, Youth and Family Affairs. Chairman from Sunflower, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like unanimous consent that we skip it but retain it on the calendar. We have a companion bill at the other end of the hall that we're working on.
All right. Gentleman's asking for item 4 to hold its place on the calendar. Anything further, gentlemen?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, gentlemen. Judd B. Passes. Judd A. He passes. Transportation. I'm sorry, did I skip the gentleman from Rankin? Come forward, gentlemen, if you wish to take up your bill. I missed you. Gentleman from Rankin, you're recognized. As to item 6, I believe.
I would ask that we skip item 6 and let it retain its place on the calendar.
And
Take it up now. You got recognized.
I don't like it. I don't like the bill. I never intended to pass it. Well, I want to scare people, especially the Speaker's office. They're the ones who are scared of it passing.
thank you, gentlemen. We will do that. Lady from Lowndes, Ms. McLean.
Introduction, Mr.
You're,
Speaker.
You're recognized.
Thank you. In the North Gallery, I have a group of ladies from the Center for Violence Prevention. Wave to us. Thank you. Please make them feel welcome.
Welcome, ladies. Good to have you with us at your Capitol today. Transportation, he passes. Back down to public health. We're down to item 9.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to skip item 9, let it retain its place on the calendar, please.
All right, we will do that. Technology. Lady from Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to call up Senate Bill 2426, item number 10 on today's calendar and make the usual motions.
Lady calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Lady, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the lady from Hines to present the bill.
Lady from Hines is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I have before you Senate Bill 2426, which is to establish the Artificial Intelligence Regulation Task Force, or AIR. The House unanimously passed this bill when it was a House bill. This is the Senate's companion. The task force would comprise of 7 voting members, They are listed in Section 1, Subsection 3, including appointees from Lieutenant Governor, Speaker, Executive Director of Mississippi Department of Information Technology Services, Director of Mississippi AI Network, Director of Homeland Security, and an appointee from the AG's office. And they will also have the ability to appoint non-voting members. They are charged with developing a comprehensive review of code and any revisions that involve AI regulation. Their reports will be due annually by December 1st, and the task force will dissolve on December 31st, 2027. And that's an explanation of the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the bill? Gentleman from Jefferson, Mr. Harness. He passes. All right, I don't see any further questions.
Final passage, Mr.
She moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 119 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. You're recognized for further work, lady.
I was going to ask for permission to skip to item number 23 on today's calendar, Senate Bill 2271.
All right. Does anyone object to the ladies? Hearing no real objection, your desk mate doesn't count. Lady, you're recognized for item 23, Senate Bill 2271.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce a gentleman from Hines to present the bill.
Gentleman from Hines, you want to call that bill up, gentlemen? Make the usual motion.
Please.
All right. Lady calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The junior gentleman from Hines is recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This bill, House Bill 2271, it will take the Mississippi Wireless Communications Department that's currently located under the Mississippi Department of Information, and it will move the Wireless Communications Department under the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. Also with the move, it'll move their line of credit. MEMA has a $10 million line of credit that they use during disasters. They dispense that as required by FEMA, and that is a short explanation of the bill. I'll yield for any questions.
Questions on the bill? Lady from Pearl River, Ms. Hobgood-Wilkes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentlemen, will you yield?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to clarify, we talked in committee about the large amount of money, the $90 million sitting there, and I just want to make sure, I know you said that they are state agency and have audits and things, but I want to make sure that $90 million, which is a huge amount of money sitting there, I want to make sure that those funds are used strictly for these counties, for these grants, and that they don't go to salaries or anything else, because that's a large amount of money coming over, and I don't want to see that getting eaten up by expenses from the agency. I want to see that $80 or $90 million go to actually fund and grant these communities with monies to get on this system.
Yes, ma'am. That's actually in my next bill that I'm going to present. That money is not in this bill. Okay. This $10 million is like a line of credit. Okay. So if we have an emergency, that MEMA can draw down that line of credit.
Okay. But on the next bill, the provisions are in there?
It is, and
okay.
It's strictly to be used for, only can be used for 911, and we'll have to allocate that money again next year if the grants are available. So Perfect. We'll have another chance to touch that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I don't see any further questions.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 117 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. Next item, lady.
Yes, sir. I'd like permission to skip to item number 34, Senate Bill 2835, and make the usual motions.
All right. Does anyone object to that? Hearing no objections, the lady's made the usual motion. She called the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And gentlemen, I see you've got a committee amendment strike all.
Yes, sir, we do.
You're recognized to explain a strike all.
Awesome. All right, so 2835 is a bill that the easiest way to describe it is it's going to take our 911 system and make it work the way you see it work on TV. That it will triangulate where you are, they know where you call, And I know we say this a lot, but this bill should truly save lives once this is fully implemented. And that's a very short explanation of the bill, and I can yield for any questions.
Questions of the gentleman? I don't see any, gentlemen.
Move final passage.
All right, we'll adopt the strike all. Question occurs on the adoption of strike all amendment 1. If you favor the strike all, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The strike all is adopted. Anything further on the bill?
No, sir. Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote 119 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. Next item, lady.
Technology yields the floor.
All right. Thank you, lady. We're back to public health, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the rest of the public health, if we could skip and retain the following items on the calendar, please.
Gotcha. All right. Judd A again. Business and Commerce, gentleman from Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move we go to item 14, Senate Bill 2849. Make the usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules to be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I see you got a committee amendment, gentlemen.
We've got a strike all. I move we adopt strike all for consideration in lieu of the original.
You're
bill.
recognized to explain the strike all.
So the strike all is we took out Section 2 out of this bill. So this is a bill that deals with economic development incentives and requirements for businesses who are electing someone to a labor organization. So we took out Section 2. That's the strike all.
Questions on the strike all? I don't see any. Question occurs on the adoption of strike all amendment 1. If you favor the strike all, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Strike all is adopted. Anything further on the bill?
So the bill allows for a company to have a secret ballot election when recognizing a labor organization as a bargaining unit or requiring subcontractors to waive their employees' rights to a secret ballot election. This is in consideration of economic development incentives. That is an explanation of the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the bill? I don't see any.
I move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote 105 yeas, 9 nays, the bill passes. Public health, we will skip and hold. State affairs, passes. Gaming, passes. Judd B. Gentleman from Grenada, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Call up item number 22, Senate Bill 2803, advance usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended. The bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this bill does, this exempts the ATVs and UTVs from ad valorem taxes when held by retailers on consignment and floor plans. That's lining up with surrounding states. And in order to do that, we're going to have to require that all those vehicles be titled. That's the explanation of the bill.
Questions on the bill? Gentleman from Jones, Mr. Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
So, is that retroactive?
No, it
Is
is
that-
not.
It's only going forward?
July 1.
So everything after July 1 this year,
Floor plan will be treated.
four-whelers, side-by-sides, everything's got to be titled?
To be titled. A lot of them are doing that already, but the main purpose of this is to relieve some pressure on our dealers, so they're being, other states, surrounding states don't require the ad valorem to be applied to these type vehicles, but in order to do that, they're going to have to be titled. They're not required to be titled now.
They're not right now?
Not right now. A lot of them do it voluntarily, but they're not required to title them.
Correct. And so, do we know what that's going to cost the consumer extra?
It should help the consumer, actually, in Mississippi, if you're buying it from a Mississippi dealer. Because that floor plan ad valorem's not being tagged on, that's be consistent with other jurisdictions, Louisiana, Alabama.
Will the titling process require a tag?
No, this is not requiring tag aspect. This is just titling.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see any further questions, gentlemen.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 108 yeas, 4 nays, the bill passes. Medicaid. Lady from Forest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I get to my bill, may I have an introduction out of order, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I am very excited and pleased to have members of the Forrest County Board of Supervisors, my very own supervisor and president of the Forrest County Board of Supervisors, Terry Bell, Steve Stringer, who represents the Petal area, Forrest County. We have Jeremiah Branch up there as well. And so we are thrilled to have y'all at your Capitol. Welcome for being here. Will y'all please give them a round of applause and welcome them.
Welcome.
And now, Mr. Speaker, may I go to item number 24, Senate Bill 2867, and pass on that for today, but ask that it retain its place on the calendar.
Yes, ma'am. Brings us to another public health, which he has requested to skip and hold. Brings us to Youth and Family Affairs, item 26. Gentleman from Sunflower, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask unanimous consent that that bill also retain its place on calendar, but skip it for today.
I think you just have to make the request, and we grant it. Thank you, gentlemen. You have the next one as well. Same.
Same, yes, sir.
Brings us down to item 28 in AET. The gentleman from Warren, he was just here, I saw him. All right, that takes us all the way down to item 35 in corrections. She passes. Business and Commerce. I'm glad we got one taker today. Gentleman from Rankin, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I go to the item 36, Senate Bill 2860, and make the usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed no. The ayes have it. Now, see, you got a committee amendment, gentlemen. Strike all.
Strike all.
You're recognized to explain the strike all.
Strike all amendment is to replace Senate Bill 2860 with House Bill 1505 that overwhelmingly passed the House. And I'd like to explain that, what the House bill did very, very briefly. This deals with the construction manager at risk method of project delivery. For instance, for example, when the Children's Hospital was built over here, let's just say, for instance, there were 4 bids that came in, and 3 bids came in at $5 million, and then 1 bid came in at $1.5 million. They were required to take the $1.5 million bid because it was the lowest bid, and then they couldn't do the work. And it cost everybody a lot of time and a lot of money. So what this bill does is it lets them not have to go through that process, and it also says that the general manager couldn't do more than 10%. The contractors and subcontractors are negotiating a number, whether that's 10, 15, or 20%, but we would like to go to conference and work on that some more so that just one company doesn't come in and take up all the work. So that's the House position. Be happy to yield for questions.
Questions on the bill, on the strike all? I don't see any. Question occurs on the adoption of strike all amendment 1. If you favor the strike all, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Strike all's adopted. Anything further on the bill, gentlemen?
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 116 yeas, 0 nays, bill passes. All right, that brings us down to education. Gentleman from Oktibbeha, making a long walk. Gentlemen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we could skip item number 37 and go to item number 38 on the calendar.
All right.
If we could call up item number 38, Senate Bill number 2177. Y'all, this is, and make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended. The bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized, gentlemen, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the vocational education modified description of programs eligible for payments out of state appropriations. This allows CTE programs to be paid. I think there was some confusion as to how to get these people paid if they have the modified calendar. This fixes that and allows that pot of money to be used to pay CTE teachers. That's the explanation of the bill.
Questions on the bill? Gentleman from Jefferson, Mr. Harness.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman yield.
Yes, sir.
Now, gentlemen, I just want to be clear. CTE, I didn't see that in the bill. I saw vocational schools in the bill. Does this bill require schools to have extended school years?
No, sir. This is for any school that's already doing that. This merely allows the teacher to be paid that's doing that program. It's not forcing anybody to do anything.
Okay, so this bill is to make sure that school districts that already have extended school years, that their teachers vocational teachers get paid?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, most vocational teachers already have 10, 11-month contracts already if they teach vocational education. So this bill is kind of vague as to this purpose. So I just wanted to make sure that your word is that this bill is not forcing school districts to have extended school years.
No.
Okay.
This is only for the ones that already have the modified schedule.
Okay.
This is not requiring anybody to go to that.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Gentleman from Marshall, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentleman, you yield?
Yes, sir.
What amount of money is set aside for these programs? You mentioned pot of money.
This doesn't have any money in it at all. This is merely for the money that comes down from the feds or anything else. So this doesn't actually have any money in it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Gentleman from Oktibbeha, do you wish to ask a question? I almost called you gentleman from Jackson.
Introduction out of order.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the House, if you would please help me welcome in the North Gallery, Mr. Vincent Young, a childhood friend. He's also the Assistant Dean for the College of Business at Mississippi State University, and his son is actually paging for me this week. So
He is a class of
him a round of
87
applause.
graduate as
gentlemen.
well.
I met he and his son today at noon when they got here to report for duty, and I enjoyed meeting them, and we're glad they're here. Good to have you here, gentlemen. All right, gentlemen from Oktibbeha, that concluded your explanation. I don't see any further questions.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 119 yeas, 0 nays, bill passes. That brings us down to item 39, might be the hottest bill of the day. Chairman of Tourism, gentleman from Harrison, is here to explain item 39 to this body. Gentlemen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to call up Senate Bill 2573 and make an usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended. The bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized, gentlemen, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to take a little time on this because it's a huge thing I think we're doing for our state. If you're going to follow, I'm going to go through the first few sections of the bill. Basically, it is called the Mississippi Tourism Reorganization Act, which is to create the Mississippi Department of Tourism. The department shall be responsible for the promotion, development, support services for tourism industry within the state. All the powers, duties, property, contractual rights, and obligations of the Tourism Division of the Mississippi Development Authority shall be transferred to the Mississippi Department of Tourism on July 1st, 2025. The governor shall appoint the executive director of the Department of Tourism with the advice and consent of the Senate in accordance with the standards established by the State Personnel Board. The executive director shall serve at the will and pleasure of the governor. The governor also will, the salary of the executive director will be set, approved by the State Personnel Board. The executive director shall be responsible to the governor for the proper administration of the programs of tourism provided under this act in conformity with the policies adopted by the governor, and goes down to section 4. The department is authorized to expend funds received either by appropriation or directly from federal and private sources. Also to develop and implement comprehensive strategy for branding, advertising, promotion, and development of the state's diverse tourism product. Also to use best practices for developing and coordinating marketing efforts to promote Mississippi State's. I worked on this pretty good, y'all. All right, give me a few. I'll shorten it up. All right. Let me see if there's anything else. All right, I'm going to stop reading the sections. Let me tell a few things, though. Y'all got on your... Y'all ready? All right, Mr. Speaker. Let's go.
Are you laying it on the counter, gentlemen? What are you doing?
No, they're ready to go, so let's...
Oh, you got all kind of questions.
Well, if I do, I can keep talking.
Oh, you're going to get to talk. Gentleman from Etowah, Mr. Boyd, wants to ask you a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman, you yield?
Yes, sir.
What happens to the people who are on the, in the rest areas and welcome centers? Do they go over to this agency?
Yes, they will follow over.
And they will not
to
go
the
to
Department of Tourism.
They will not go to the county?
No, sir. That bill died.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Gentleman from Oktibbeha, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I do apologize for not having the time today, but I wanted to do a little light interrogation. I noticed there's a 3% sale tax What do you plan on doing with it?
Well, that's the stream of marketing was passed in 2019. So that's the marketing stream of revenue that goes with the tourism. That will follow from MDA over to Department of Tourism.
Okay.
That went in Act 2019.
Thank you for that that answer. And are you being named czar of tourism?
No, sir.
Mr. Speaker says, okay. All right.
He just lost all interest in the bill, lady from Lincoln, Miss Curry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how much this is going to cost?
The physical note that MDA sent over, which some of the folks looked at that, the physical note itself was an additional 1.3, but other folks looked at it, thought it'd be a little over less than $1 million. But it's like any industry. We have so many industries in this state that when they invest in things, that they recoup the money, and we feel that the tourism will reinvest those monies and bring more money to the state with that investment.
I'm all for tourism, gentlemen. I'm just not for growing government.
I understand. It's more of an investment.
Gentleman from Marshall, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentlemen, you yield?
Yes, sir.
Will this bill, if it becomes law, affect the way local tourism organizations support local communities as it relates to different activities?
I don't think it will change. They still right now should be coordinating with the Visit Mississippi, which has the same thing, Department of Tourism. So if they should work hand in hand with that.
So when it comes to applying for different types of grants, this change won't affect that in any kind of way?
No, right now there's a advisory board, and basically that advisory board the Mississippi Tourism Association helps them when they spend that money. So that all that should stay the same.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Gentleman from Montgomery, Mr. Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentleman, yield.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, if I heard the lady from Lincoln question correct, or your answer to her question is what's this going to cost? They currently have their own money, is that right? It's going to transfer with them if we pass this bill?
Yes, they will have their own money that will transfer over. But again, there's like anything else, there will be some expense with it. And so that we feel like that's an investment because we know that money will come back to us when that money's invested.
Do you have an accurate figure of what they're transferring?
On their transfer figure, hold one second.
And this is coming from MDA going into the new agency?
That's coming from MDA. I think there's close to 8 million that's transferring now, or 5.8 should be transferred over.
There's a big difference in 5.8 and 8.
Well, if you add
5.8 million.
Yeah, close to 6, and then 1.3, what they're projecting, between 900 and 1.3.
Will there be any additional cost hit to the general fund dollars? In other words, will we need to plus this up in our general fund?
We might have to add some, but right now, again, most of it's going to be transferred over, so we might have a deficit when it comes to that.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, gentlemen, I don't see any further questions.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Everyone voted. Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 108 yeas, 9 nays, the bill passes. Brings us back down to state affairs. He passes. And I believe that brings us all the way down to the last item, 44, and Judd A. I just saw him. Is he gone again? All right. Local and private. He passes. That concludes our calendar. All right, announcements, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There will be a joint committee, State of Affairs, Accountability, Efficiency, and Transparency today at 4:15 in room 402.
Announcements by the members. Gentleman from Union, Mr. Creekmore.
Unanimous consent.
State your request.
I'd like unanimous consent from the House to change Senate Bill 2664, which is the dietitian licensure compact, and the changes to remove the reverse repealer.
We got to confer on that, man. Where are you coming from with this stuff?
I don't know that we can do that in that manner, gentlemen. I'll have to get some.
We got legal coming. Always trying to do something.
Is that a bill we passed today or Friday? Well, we'll have to know which day. If it's gone, it's.
I mean, what do we do? I mean, he's trying to pull some shady stuff right here. I don't know what he's got going on.
Yeah, it's been going a while. Council informs me that Senate is also requesting this same unanimous consent with requiring to reverse repealer. Of course, it's unanimous consent. That is the request. It sounds like there's lots of reservation. I would welcome, if you want to explain it at the well what we're doing, they may give you that consent. They may want to know what bill they're agreeing that the reverse repealer comes out of and what that entails. They're holding the bill and they're enrolling to see if we both get unanimous consent to do that. So, gentleman from Union, I'll recognize you at this time to explain your request.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This was a mistake made where we passed the bill with reverse repealer and the Senate did too. They've already requested unanimous consent and approved it to do away with the repealer, and I'm asking the same thing, and this is for the dietitian licensure compact.
All right. I see lots of folks seeking recognition. Is it to question the gentleman?
Yes, sir.
I need you to, I've got so much on my board, I need you to unpunch your button unless you have a question about the gentleman's request. Gentleman from Washington, Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentleman Yield.
Yes, sir.
This is what we kind of agreed to in the committee. Is that not correct?
It is.
Okay, and so all this is just a simple procedural move in order to help the dietitians get what they need. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
This would allow this piece of legislation to go forward to the governor so he can sign it or veto it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I don't see any further questions. Does anyone wish to formally object to the gentleman's request for unanimous consent? Hearing none, we will follow that procedure. Thank you, gentlemen from Union, for working with me. Gentleman from Adams, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just, for future reference, just a question about the procedure. So you don't have to call the bill, or he could not call the bill up on a motion to reconsider?
I think you could, but if you remember last year, I don't know that he could this one because this one passed on February the 28th. It's gone for those purposes. But there was a bill that inadvertently passed, I believe, last year or year before that included a reverse repealer that nobody intended to be in there.
Yeah.
And we agreed with unanimous consent on both ends, we could remove it. And I think actually did that in that particular bill. I forget what it was. And I guess this is the similar request. We've communicated with, the chairman's communicated with the Senate. They were attempting to get it down there today, and I believe they did or are planning on it. Council is checking now, but it'll have to receive unanimous consent on both ends.
So before it's enrolled, if both houses agree, we can unanimously consent.
Yes, sir.
And it hadn't been signed by the Lieutenant Governor or by you.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
That's correct. Thank you for clearing me up. Gentleman from Rankin, Mr. Varner.
Announcement?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow we have the Friends of Mississippi State Hospital having a legislative appreciation lunch from 11 to 1 o'clock. There's requests, if you cannot make it, if you'll just go by and get your ticket at the bottom floor in the rotunda, and if you can't make it, bring the tickets back up to the clerk's office, because there's probably some staff that would love to have that meal if you can't make it. So if you just go by the rotunda, you get your ticket from there, and then bring your ticket back up to the clerk's office. I think there's some confusion. This is not the ticket. The ticket is downstairs in the rotunda. So if you can help do that, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Gentleman from Hines, Mr. Crudup.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adjourn in memory.
You're recognized.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this past Friday, Corporal Christopher Gallen passed. He was a Jackson Police Department officer. He was well loved by his community, 17-year veteran. He leaves behind a wife and children, so please remember him at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for reminding us of that and for your adjourn in memory. We'll pause for a moment of silence in his honor. Thank you, gentlemen. I would suggest all members be added as co-authors with you. Gentleman from Lafayette, Mr. DeWeese.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On today's calendar, item 23, Senate Bill 2271, I'd like to hold that on a motion to reconsider, please.
Thank you, gentlemen. Please notify the chairman. Lady from Madison, Ms. Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If there's no objection, I'd like immediate release on Senate Bill 2426, the Artificial Intelligence Task Force Bill.
Is there any objection? We will proceed in that manner. Thank you, lady. Gentleman from Etowamba, Mr. Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to announce that we will not have the Investigate State Offices Committee meeting this afternoon in 402. Will not have the meeting.
Investigate State Offices will not meet. Gentleman from Choctaw, Mr. Hood.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item number 7, Senate Bill 2515. I'd like to have it read for the third time.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will do that. Gentleman from Benton, Mr. Massengill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adjourn in memory.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'd like y'all help me adjourn in memory of my cousin, Malcolm Massengill. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will do that. I would also ask the House to join me in adjourning in memory of Ann Harper Richardson. She was a 9-year-old little girl in Kosciuszko who was hit by a car and tragically killed this weekend. She has 4 little siblings and leaves behind her dad, Dr. Breck Richardson, and her mother, Laura. And it's a sad day in Kosciuszko. Lady from Lincoln, Ms. Curry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've just saw where we have a helicopter from UMMC that's gone down near Natchez. Just let us all say a prayer for them.
Yep. My understanding is there were a couple of pilots and staff on board and no patient yet. It has crashed. We're waiting further word. Madam Clerk has another announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Joint Committee of State Affairs and Accountability and Efficiency and Transparency will not meet today.
That joint committee will not meet. By way of announcement, ladies and gentlemen, regarding tomorrow's funeral services for former Pro Tem Representative Robert Clark, we are working on some alternate transportation to the funeral. The funeral is at 10. I anticipate we will have at least one charter bus here leave at 8 o'clock. They will board the bus at 7:45 right here at the Capitol. I believe that bus will hold somewhere between 40 and 50. I've not received, some of you have attempted to count how many folks wish to go and ride the bus. And at my last count, we were only at about 25 as far as, I understand more of you than that are going, but that bus will be escorted by the Highway Patrol there and back, and it will leave at 8 o'clock, be there for the service at 10, and then we'll return after the service. So please work through Representative Taylor or my office if you wish, if you're going to ride the bus that leaves at 8 in the morning, so that we can be sure we've got enough room for everybody that wants that option. Please report either to him and he will get with my office this afternoon to let us know a number, and then we will make further accommodations from there based on that. All right, any further announcements? And as we talked about last week, we will not convene tomorrow till 3 o'clock to give everyone time to get back from Lexington from the funeral that does choose to attend. All right, I recognize the gentleman from Rankin for the motion.
I move that the House adjourns until 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Gentleman's motion is that the House stand adjourned until 3 p.m. tomorrow. In favor of that motion indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The House will stand adjourned until 3 p.m. tomorrow.